Good evening all, connection is good. It is Wednesday, 8 PM UK time. I'm Elliot Upton, this is the Ultimate Performance live feed. I'm here to do as I always do, answer all of your questions, have a bit of fun, a little bit of a rant, no doubt, about a few things, but most of all, inform you about the stuff that you may be misinformed about. Now, as always, right here, I am filming for YouTube, so this will go back up on our YouTube channel, Ultimate Performance, or my own YouTube channel, Elliot Upton, 2 L's, 2 T's. We are also recording it for a podcast on a mic just down there, so we have everything you could possibly want. What I recommend you do, if you can't stay with us all day today, obviously ask your questions. I will still do my best to answer them, but you can either watch the YouTube videos when you're doing cardio in a gym, or you can listen to the podcast, which I will tell you where that is going, and you can listen to that while you're doing your cardio outside, because of course it's very, very hard to carry your phone. Safety first, remember, if you're doing your cardio on the road, carry your phone and keep YouTube open to watch. So it is done in podcast form as well now, so enjoy them all. Right, we've got people coming in. Just to give anyone who is new a bit of a heads up, when I am stopping and scrolling through, I'm actually going through the questions here. Anyone on YouTube, when you see me coming a little bit close to the camera like that, that's exactly what I'm doing. Those of you on a podcast, if you hear me go silent just for a moment, this is exactly what's going on. So you know what's happening here. Let's see who is going to open us up with the questions today. Ari, we've got lots of regulars in here. Hello, hello, hello. While we are waiting for people to come in, I'm waiting for the first question to come up. One thing I will say, we're going to talk about mass gaining. Now, the reason it's come up, and I think it's a very, very good observation to start the chat with today, is what you should be eating to gain mass. Now, I was speaking to a trainer very, very recently, one of our own trainers, about putting some size on a female. Now, this is not female specific. This is something that applies both to men and women. Now, he took on a client who wanted to gain weight. Now, that client had currently been eating about 5,000 calories and training a high volume bodybuilding style workout. This is something that they had been put on by a previous trainer. Now, let me give you a bit more of a background on that. Let's start with the diet. The diet is always key for any result. Now, what was happening here is the trainer in question, the previous trainer, had recommended that this client basically eat whatever they want, okay? Eat Ben & Jerry's, eat pizza, eat this and that and this bit of junk food, basically a lot of inflammatory foods. Now, yes, of course, the calories are going to be up there, and his idea was that if you get the protein goal to a certain amount, then they're going to gain muscle irrelevant because they have the calories in. Now, unfortunately, this is not the case. If you are causing inflammation, if you are causing poor cellular health, then your cells will not multiply, they will not grow, and they will not operate the way they are supposed to do so. Nutrients are vitally important. Whether you are trying to lose body fat or you are trying to gain muscle, you have to be nourished. Now, what did we do? The solution on this was, firstly, cleaned up the diet. We actually halved the calories, went from about 4,000 or 5,000 down to about 2,500 for this girl. She's about 60 odd kilos. What we then did is fill her full of nutrients, no inflammatory food or high quality food. Secondly, we dropped the volume of her training sessions. Rather than doing big bodybuilding style sessions, we moved to a strength training style protocol, which the trainer, the new trainer, our UP trainer, is now executing. What happened? Within a couple of weeks, her entire body changed, despite the 3 or 4 months of previous work, eating inflammatory foods and trying to train to be a bodybuilder. Now, this should say something to you. What you put in your mouth is vitally important. No dirty jokes there. What you put in your mouth is vitally important, irrelevant of your goal, whether it's fat loss, whether it's performance, or if it is muscle building or muscle gain. You don't need crazy amounts of calories. What you need are the right nutrients and the right stimulus in order to grow. So don't kid yourself that eating loads of Ben & Jerry's and pizza and pasta and all this crap is going to benefit you on a quote-unquote bulk. It's idiocy, it's stupid, it's not something you should be doing. What you tend to find, the people who do that are, number one, genetically very, very lucky. Number two, often chemically assisted. So if you are a normal person, a normal average Joe like me or the guy next door or whatever, you're not taking all of this assistance, you don't have epic genetics, then you have to do things right. If you want any more on that, I've filled a good amount of opening time with that. If you want any more on that, then do please put some questions in the comments below, referring to my first point. No inflammatory food, irrelevant of your goal. That's going to help you build muscle much, much quicker. And if you are trying to gain weight as someone who doesn't easily gain weight, then drop the volume of your training sessions down. You want to preserve fuel for growth, not use loads of it during high volume training sessions. High volume training sessions are better for fat loss as opposed to muscle gain for most people. Right, let's catch up with some questions now. What we got? Arinate, I'd just like to say congrats on the new gym opening. Will that be LA, Cheshire, or South Kent? Cheshire, I believe, was the most recent one. Yeah, it's just opened up out there, up near Manchester. So if you're in the area, do go check it out. If you're not in the area, go to the area and check it out. If you're in the area of any of our gyms, make sure you do come over and see it. If you're watching this on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast, of course, go to the website upfitness.com and check out all of our locations to see if we have one near you. Even if we're not near you, we still can do online training programs, whether that's Live Up or one-to-one online training, no matter where you are in the world, as long as you have an internet connection. Right, what we got? How lean do you recommend a male gets before you reverse out and start a caloric surplus? John Arpock, it's not necessarily about how lean they are. I'm not overly worried about that. For me, it's more how long have they been in such a massive deficit. Now, you can take people, in my opinion, you can take people into quite a big deficit, but you don't want to take them there for too long. How long that is kind of dependent on the biological feedback. What is their body saying to you? What is their lifts doing? What are their lifts doing? Are they going down? Are they able to maintain a good training intensity? Are they sleeping? Hormonally, do they look healthy? Is their skin the way it's supposed to be? Again, what you will often find, if someone is nourished, they can go a lot lower in calories because their body has everything it needs. What people tend to find is that if they go down to, say, 1,000 calories, but they're only eating 1,000 calories of shit and they're not eating any vegetables, etc., then that becomes a real problem. However, if someone's eating 1,000 calories of vegetables and the right kind of fats and the right kind of proteins, you'd be amazed how long they can stay down there under absolute comfort. Like I say, I wouldn't keep them down there too long. Get someone as lean as they want to be. You're going to have to be in a deficit, but you may want to intermittently jump in and out of that deficit. Now, for instance, the way I do that is carb cycling. I'm a massive fan of carb cycling, and I like to do heavily contrasted carb cycling. So by that I mean on rest days, I take the calories and carbs quite low, potentially for a guy, even 12 to 1400 if people can manage it. But then on their high days, I'll be taking them 3, 4, 5,000, depending on how lean they are. One of the things, it's something that's worth picking up, worth all of you taking into account, is that think about your calories weekly rather than daily. Okay, so if you're thinking, oh God, yeah, but my calories are so low today, but if they're going to be 5,000 tomorrow, and over that week it gives you an average of 14, 20, 25, whatever, that's what's more important. Don't stress about dropping calories down a little bit for a day if you can jump them up somewhere else in the week, where you're needed, or where they're needed. Swear jar, would you recommend a strict diet or just cutting out the junk food? Swear jar, depends on what your goal is, what your genetics are like. If you've got great genetics, just cutting out crap may well do you the world of good. It may get you to where you want to go. For most people with average genetics, you're going to have to diet slightly harder. That is not to say you have to diet crazy hard. This is what I try to teach people with Live Up, our online training program Live Up, is dieting isn't that difficult. It really isn't. It's hugely overcomplicated, but it doesn't have to be that way. It doesn't have to make you suffer. It doesn't have to be weighing this and measuring that and all of the annoying crap that comes along with dieting. So, do you have to diet hard? Depends on your goal, your genetics, but for most people, I would say somewhere between the two. Cut out the crap, yes, absolutely, 100%. Do you have to diet hard? Depends how lean you want to be. Any great tips for managing inflammation? The first great tip, Anito, would be cut out anything that is causing inflammation. So here we're looking at inflammatory foods, chemicals, alcohol, okay? Those would be the three. Take out what potentially is causing the inflammation. Secondary, manage your stress, okay? And that's not just, work stress, relationship stress, whatever. Manage your stress by looking at stressors, both physical, mentally, and emotional stressors in your life. So, is work stressing you out? Find a way to deal with that problem. Is a person stressing you out? Find a way to deal with that problem. Are you overly stressed because you're overtraining? Is that causing inflammation? If so, back off. The key to anything, physically or mentally, is if you have a problem, deal with it immediately. Do not fester on that problem, because problems, once they are there, never ever go away. They will always sit there. How you react to them is what's going to make the difference. So, take out physical stresses. So if you're overtraining, back off a bit. Manage your emotional stresses, manage your professional stresses, take out any inflammatory foods, drinks, etc. Rest up, and then you can add things like curcumin is a very, very good supplement. If you go to upfitness.com, go to our store, our curcumin is a very, very strong supplement which is going to help bring down overall cellular inflammation. Omega-3 fish oils is also extremely good. I'd recommend quite a high dose of fish oils, about 10 grams per day for most people. Again, the key with fish oils is to make sure it's high quality fish oil. Don't go for anything a bit rubbish. upfitness.com, go to the supplement store. Both of those supplements can be found there. Right, next question. Where are we? We're going to JMC Southwell. Coming to the end of diet and cut from 15 to 12 stone. Best way to gain clean weight, lift 6 sessions a week. JMC, if you're trying to gain lean weight, I would suggest cutting that down to 4 sessions because you're going to be training too much to adequately cover and properly grow. So I would say back off to about 4 sessions. What you have to remember, if you're trying to grow, you need to have fuel left over. If you're training 6 times, you're going to be constantly trying to put yourself in a deficit, essentially, not leaving enough calories and enough nutrients for your body to grow. So back off to about 4 training sessions. Secondly, reverse diet yourself and taper your calories up slowly. Don't suddenly jump in and go into a quote-unquote bulk. Taper yourself up nice and steadily. Let's say 100 calories a week from various macronutrients, whatever you feel you may need. Sit there, make sure you're not getting any leaner, or sorry, any fatter, any softer. If you're good, then add another 100. Again, sit there, wait. If you're not getting any fatter, then add another 100, another 100. If you get to a point where suddenly you get a little bit softer and you think, okay, maybe I'm putting on some body fat, then stay there until you start to get leaner again. All you've got to wait for is your metabolism to kind of churn itself up to that point, then you'll be fine, and then you can continue to taper. Gaining muscle in a lean fashion is about patience. The reality of it is a traditional bulk cycle. Usually, you will gain exactly the same amount of muscle as you would if you were doing it slowly. Why? Because you will gain a lot more because you maybe overly eat your calories, but you put yourself in a real bad hormonal state. Then when you have to diet back down again, you lose most of that muscle. So not really worth it. Just take it steady, be patient with yourself. How do I slim down my calves? Alex FA, slimming down your calves is something that no man in the fitness industry wants to do. That question could only come from a female with probably really awesome calves. How to slim down your calves? The only thing I can suggest, because your calves are highly unlikely to atrophy, they're probably not likely to get any smaller. You of course can get a lot leaner, which can potentially help you out. If you find that you maybe carry some water down there, you may have a lymphatic issue, and sometimes massage can really help that. So it's an option. It's hard to say without actually seeing your calves. But as I say, don't hate on them. You know, a lot of girls have got really, really good calves. That's why you look amazing in high heels. And I can guarantee you that 90% of the men out there looking down at their puny little legs are going to be saying, God, I wish I had some calf to spare. I, as it happens, have. You can't see it on the camera, but my calves are rather impressive. Naomi, Cheshire. There you go, Cheshire gym, just can't wait to move. Well, make sure you pop in there, Naomi. You'll love it. It's a beautiful gym. Arionator, can you do a joint live with Gemma? Possibly at some point, yes. If I am in town and we can coordinate diaries, that is definitely an option. The next time I'm in the UK, which will be sometime later this summer or very, very soon, I will do my best to try and sort that out. So watch this space. If I do, of course, we will set that up and we will let you know. Aaron Emery, hey Elliot, would your online personal trainers be able to create a program edged towards more functionality as opposed to traditional bodybuilding? Aaron, absolutely 100% yes we can. That would be the one-to-one online training rather than live up, but yeah, 100% we can. If you want to check that out, go to upfitness.com, go to the online training tab in the menu on the left-hand side and it will give you all the details there, but yeah, that won't be a problem at all. Elena, how do I slim down my calves because they are muscly? There's another person asking to slim down calves. We've got a lot of people with big calves. Best bet is just to try and get leaner. You're not really going to slim them down massively. They're a very fatigue resistant muscle, so even if you tried to overtrain them, they probably wouldn't shrink. Swearjar, I appreciate that. Thank you, Elliot. You're most welcome, Swearjar. Does the 30-day challenge work? I'm sure you've seen it. What the 30-day challenge does, Swearjar, is it does 2 things. First of all, it gives someone a short-term goal. Okay, it's very, very easy to do something every single day. It's good to create a habit. If you can create a habit, you can do amazing things. Okay, what 30 days allows you to do is slowly create that habit. Secondly, because they're short, sharp workouts, very, very easy to do. Very easy indeed. Number 3, if it's got you off your ass and it's got you moving for 30 days, it is of course, irrelevant of what else you do, it is going to get some form of result. Is it a crazy, amazing transformation program? And should you buy into the pictures that they put up? Absolutely not, because I would say 99.99999% of the pictures that they put up saying, oh, look at what I did for the 30-day challenge, has nothing at all to do with the 30-day challenge. That unfortunately is social media, that unfortunately is general media. You're being lied to, but will it work? Probably not for what you think it will work for. However, is it a bad thing? Not at all. It gets you off your ass, it gets you moving, and it helps you to create good habits. Mark Fitty Boom Boom, what a name that is. Elliot, I work shifts and sometimes don't even get a break. I'm on the UP Live men's training plan. Can I eat 2 meals together to ensure I get the locals in? Yes, Mark, you can give it a go. The thing is with that is it's just about doing what you can, and then we'll just have to try and adjust as we go. And it brings me on to a good point about shift workers. One of the things that shift workers are going to have to do often because of lack of sleep, and this goes to nurses, doctors, firemen and women, policemen and women, factory staff, air crew. The best way to think about your food is similar to kind of training. Think about it weekly as opposed to daily, because sometimes you're likely to be up for 18, 24, whatever hours, especially flight crew. It's important to think about what do you need to eat during this week. That would be the best way to work out your food, because people think, oh God, okay, when am I supposed to eat? How do I fit this in, etc., etc. Think about your food weekly. As long as you get all of your meals in weekly, the timing, is it that much more important? Not necessarily. Get your nutrients in, get your meals in weekly. With regards to that, it's not the end of the day eating the 2 meals together. However, I would leave out some things to see if you can snack on, because that's going to be a huge volume of food which isn't necessarily going to do you much good. Liz Lariviere, good, hello. How do I slim down my carbs? Alex, we've answered that one now 3 times. What are the best carbs to eat on a transformation diet? Jesse Higgins, ideally cleaner carbs. So with that, for instance, on the Live Up plan, I offer potatoes, sweet potatoes, bread, pasta, couscous, quinoa, rice, brown rice, white rice, whatever. For me, those are clean carbs. I don't nitpick with regards to, oh, should I be eating bread, blah, blah, blah. If you want bread and it's going to help you get a little bit of respite and encourage you to stick on a diet longer term, then I've got zero issue with it whatsoever. So what carbs do you want to eat on a transformation diet? The ones that you know are relatively clean and the ones that you enjoy, because ultimately a diet shouldn't be something that you are constantly fighting against and suffering against. If you're constantly fighting against it and suffering against it, then you are probably not going to do it, therefore you're not going to succeed. How do I slim down my carbs because they're muscly? I can't answer that question anymore. I'm going to stop doing that now. What's the best way to get rid of fat around the middle? The best way to get fat around the middle, Kath Copy, is to diet correctly, is to maintain a calorie controlled diet and to exercise regularly. Don't do too much cardio. Try and dominate your training programs with weight training. I would suggest 3 to 4 sessions a week is more than adequate for most people, but more than anything, always more than anything, is to get your diet right. Megan, what in your opinion is the best way to speed up the metabolism? Best way to speed up the metabolism is to, number 1, eat enough, eat plenty of nutrient-dense foods. If you're eating a lot of food, your body is going to start burning a lot of energy. That's what it does. Secondly, create a reason for the body to burn more energy by using more energy. Strength train, learn how to weight train in the gym, become strong, turn your body into a machine. It will then burn a lot of fuel like a big, heavy, petrol-thirsty machine. Alex FA, so I'm saying that you need to get leaner. If you're already shredded, then they're probably about as lean as they're gonna get. CJ Madden, what's up? Do4, what's up? If they are fat, Alexa, or Alex, then get leaner. That's the answer. I'm not gonna keep going into that because I would imagine some people are getting bored. Please, can you request to follow me, please? Ask Gemma and Gorka too as well. I would Arianate her, but I'm not Gemma and Gorka's secretary, so do feel free to ask them to follow you yourself. How can I get leaner if I've got an injury and sit down all the time? First of all, stand up more than you sit down. That's going to burn more energy. What is your injury would be the question I ask next. 5-star, is a 2-week LC reset necessary for fat loss journey? Can you jump right just to a lower carb diet? For me, it can be very, very useful for many, many reasons. Namely, number 1 is getting some dietary discipline. It's learning how to discipline yourself. Number 2 will give you a kickstart, a slight kickstart. Is that to say that it's necessary for everybody? No, it's not. For most clients, I don't do it personally. The reason I don't do it is because I tend to find that most clients cheat anyway. So I'd rather give them some clean carbs when I know they're not going to do what they're told anyway and they're going to lie to me. So is it necessary? No. Is it beneficial? Absolutely. Can it, if you do it correctly, be more beneficial than not doing it? Absolutely. So if you can, it's worth giving it a try. Umaim, how does strength training, weight training help women's hormonal systems and sim and women's health? I'm going to assume improve. God, across the board, we talk about it will increase metabolism, it's going to help bone mass density and steer off osteoporosis, it's going to help regulate sex hormones, it's going to help the body and the liver to cleanse toxins out, which is in turn going to reduce estrogenic toxicity. This is a massive, massive, massive subject. The summary of it is that lifting really helps women. We talk about, you know, cortisol and being able to get rid of stress and anxiety and getting dopamine up and getting serotonin up and helping sleep. This is just a million benefits, a million benefits. We can probably at some point write something down to list these. In fact, there will more than likely be an article already on the website about it, but the benefits are just endless. I could stand here for the next hour and talk about nothing but the benefits of lifting for females. If you're a female out there and you don't lift, lift. It will change your life. If you're not confident about lifting, you're not sure what to do, how to do it, then sign up to the Live Up program. It's only £50 a month. It's changing unbelievable amounts of women and men's lives. We've got one for each. They're very different setups on the programs, but they work just the same. Get over there and that's going to give you the head start that you need. But if you're a female, if you're a male, either or, if you are a human, lift. You'll love it. Mark, I work shifts and sometimes don't get a break. I'm on a UP Life program. Can I eat 2 meals at once? Okay, so now I can't tell because I've already answered that one, Mark, and said yes. I can't tell if Instagram is somehow duplicating questions. If it is, can somebody let me know if I've got someone lovely out there who wants to let me know? Lauren, Elliot, have you recovered from my injury? It looked painful. Lauren, unfortunately, I haven't. I've got a lot of bruising down the back of my leg now, across my hamstring. For those of you who don't know, I was doing my sprints the other morning, and the training protocol that I've been given by my coach, actually in Canada, very good coach, is just a little bit too aggressive for me. The volume's quite high, it's very brutal, and it's been putting a lot of stress and tension on my hips. Despite my best efforts to kind of control that and make sure I've got plenty of soft tissue work, eventually last week it went snap and my hamstring went bang. So I'm completely out of training near enough now. I can train my upper body a little bit, but not to the same degree that I could. And I have a lot of bruising down the back of my leg. So thank you for asking, but yeah, it's not really done well at the moment. It sucks. The key to recovery though is just to understand, you know, this leads me onto this nicely. The key to recovery is to understand that you have to recover. Okay, there's no point in going back into the gym too soon, too early, and screwing things up and making an injury that could have lasted 3 weeks, last 6 weeks. Make sense? Let it rest, let it recover, let it do what it needs to do. Make sure you're getting loads of sleep to help your body repair itself. Make sure you're eating lots of nutrient-dense foods to help your body repair itself and to bring down inflammation. These are things that you have to do when you're injured. Be patient, let your body heal, and then get back into training. When is the UP meal plan book coming out? Very soon, Laura Moore. I haven't been given a date by Nick yet, so I wouldn't be able to tell you right now. But for those of you who don't know, some of you might have picked up the Principles of Muscle Building book that was out recently. If you haven't, you can go to upfitness.com and check it out, or you can go over to Amazon and see that. That is the Principles of Muscle Building. That's the first in a 4-series kind of training and nutrition encyclopedia. The next one is coming out about diet and meal planning. So do keep your eyes open for that. Best way to find out when it's coming out and how to get your copy ahead of time. I believe you can actually pre-order now, so go and check that. But the best way to order your copy is to hit post notifications on all of our channels, and you will be the first to hear. Also go to the website and sign up to the mailing list, and that means you will get early bird orders done, so yours will come out first before they sell out. Obviously the last one sold out very quickly indeed, so I have no doubt that's going to happen again. Mark Fitty Boom, cheers Elliot, appreciate the help, and yes, I work in emergency services. Well, like I say, for that, thank you from me, thank you from everybody else in this chat. We understand how much of a challenge that can be, but yeah, the way to think about your stuff is to think about everything weekly. You know, you're gonna work long shifts, it's gonna screw your schedule. If you're trying for X amount of meals in here, then you're gonna get hungry. Think about your whole schedule weekly. Providing you get what you need to get in weekly, you're probably gonna do okay. It takes a bit of the stress away from working shifts. What are the best exercises to build your chest and widen it? Presses, without doubt, 100% presses. Barbell bench press, decline bench press, incline dumbbell press. Those would be my 3 if I could only do some for the next, next 10 years. If I could only do 3 exercises, those would be the ones. Big, heavy presses. What I would say is variation. Vary the angles, make sure you're hitting decline, flat, only mildly decline, like 5%, so you still be able to go really, really heavy. Decline, flat, and incline bench presses, and vary the rep ranges. Anything from 2 to 15, and use tempo. Tempo is also very, very useful. Rogan and Jash. How much protein to eat when leaning down on a low carb diet? Depends on each person, Rogan. There are kind of basics, but a male would need a lot more than a female. But that being said, what is the male's testosterone profile like? What are their past illnesses? What is their thyroid output like? What does their body look like? Are they carrying much muscle? Does it look like you've got digestive issues? These are all factors that are never taken into account to formulas that are used to guess and guesstimate basically how much protein you should be taking in. What I would say, for me, for most men, if you're trying to get lean but you want to build muscle, I would suggest about 150 grams of protein per day is about the lower limit. Lower limit. Now you do see people shoveling in 200, 300, 400 grams of protein a day. For most people, this is stupidity, especially natural athletes. All this is going to do is disturb your digestive tract and digestive function, so don't do it. 150, I would say, for a fat loss is about adequate. That's where you want to be. For females, I would say that around 100, between 80 and 100 is about a good ballpark. For me, that's where I would like to see you. How does strength training? We're definitely getting duplicates here. Umaim, I answered that question about 5-10 minutes ago. Thanks. What's the best diet and how do I know I've done so many? Kath Cuppy, you're going to have to remind me of the previous question there, Kath Cuppy. There is no best diet. Okay, the 2 factors that you need to take into account with regards to the best diet is number 1, has whoever has given it to you got credibility? Can they prove that they have got the result that you're looking for out of a number of different people? Have they got it out of old people, young people, injured people, healthy people, athletes, men, women, whatever? Number 1, have they got a track record? If they have a track record, then potentially they have some credibility and they may well be giving you the right information. Secondly, the best diet is the one that you're going to stick to. This is something that so many people screw up. They try to take their diet from one extreme to the other. They try to cut this out and cut that out and cut the other out, and then wonder why they consistently crash and burn every single time. Meet somewhere in the middle. You have an option. Between this time now and this time next year, you can try 6 diets and crash on them. Every 2 months you crash, you screw up, you go back to square one. That year is going to pass. Okay? If you try 6 different random crappy diets and you fail on every single one of them because they were too extreme, you're in the same place in a year's time. However, if you choose to take things slowly and say, do you know what, I'm giving myself a year. I'm going to take things really slowly. I'm going to start by cutting out one thing at a time. Gradually, 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 you're going to get leaner. Guess what? By the time the year's out, you're in the best shape you've ever been, in a way that you thought you could never get there. It's easy. You haven't felt like you've been dieting because you've done it intelligently, you've done it slowly, you've shown some patience. This is where most people screw on their diets. Yes, of course, a transformation diet. For instance, if you were coming to UP and you wanted a 12-week transformation, then we would have to do some things to make sure you're going to have to take a few things away. We're going to have to take that away. You're probably not going to be able to drink, stuff like that. We have to get that transformation out of you if that's what you have come to us for. This means you may have to take some slightly more extreme measures with your diet. However, if you're doing it alone and you consistently crash, imagine if 10 years ago when you started dieting, you'd just done 1 and it worked. It would have saved your life a lot of stress and your body a lot of stress. Former, hello, Anito, no problem, knee injury, Arionator. So if you've got a knee injury, you can still train any amount of upper body and probably isolated glute work, which with your glutes and hamstrings being such big muscles, it's going to cause a massive metabolic effect. You're not at all restricted there on a lot of stuff, so I wouldn't let it stop you. Find excuses, find reasons why you can, not reasons why you can't. This is the key here. You can still do a lot of things like battling ropes, even high intensity interval training with your upper body is very, very easy with that. So don't use it as a reason to stop you. You may well want to either come into one of our gyms or do one-to-one online training with ourselves. If not, find a trainer, a reputable trainer who knows what they're doing to show you how to exercise around whatever injury you have. To say that you have to sit down because you have a knee injury, calling bullshit on it, because I know people who've got one leg. I know people who've got no legs who don't spend their days sitting down. My partner has had a bad back. He has a microdiscectomy. What exercises would you recommend? What exercises would I recommend? I won't be able to tell you that, unfortunately. If he's had has he had any kind of surgery? Has he gone to see a specialist about it properly? If so, then the specialist is going to be someone who needs to be assessing him to see what his movement abilities are. Everyone is going to be individual, because he's going to have some tight muscles. Things are likely to have been spasming acutely around the area. This means for me to turn around and say, do this, this, and this is probably not smart. So speak to a specialist. Is creatine good? If yes, when to consume it, after or before a workout? Yes, Rogan Josh, creatine is good. Creatine is very, very good for helping you lift harder for longer, because it does basically a phosphate steel. It helps you regenerate your lifting fuel essentially much, much quicker. When is the best time to take it? I would recommend post-workout, about 5 grams. Put it in your post-workout shake. Jax say, am I Mark? No, I'm not Mark. I'm Elliot. Rachie, are there any particular weightlifting exercise you would recommend for females, or any good combinations? Rachie, literally every single weightlifting exercise going. The only ones I don't really do with females is bench pressing, unless they ask. If a female wants to get a strong bench press, I don't recommend they do bench presses. I prefer overhead presses, just from a shape point of view and posture point of view, and the fact that a lot of girls, especially with boobs, they tend to cross anyway, up across, so I don't recommend training their chest. What I do say is shoulder pressing and dips I do like as well, because that's going to help to balance the shoulder girdle properly. It's going to keep it strong, keep it stable, but it's not necessarily going to give a postural deformity or promote a postural deformity that's likely already there, or it's not going to create a jacked chest, which isn't really a good aesthetic look on a female. With regards to what other exercises you should be doing, all of them. Deadlifts, squats, pull-ups, stiff leg deadlifts, you name it, get them done. Fill your boots. It's duplicating. No, I thought so. Thank you, Laura. Okay, hi, I've just lost 5 stone. Very well done. Now what's the best way to get rid of saggy belly and man boobs? Partially with regards to if it's loose skin you're talking about, then you need to be taking it slowly. Don't diet down too fast, because your body, your skin structure, the collagen structure in your skin, it will start to, it's elastic, so it needs to come back steadily and gently. So don't try to drop body fat too fast. If you still have man boobs and saggy skin, it's worth using some kind of collagen cream. It will possibly help. There's no guarantee there. Lots of water and loads of nutrients in your food. What you have to remember with regards to sagging skin especially, and as we age, the skin gets narrower because the cells are less healthy. If you are dieting constantly with no calories and, more importantly, no nutrients, the skin gets thinner quicker and it appears to be more wrinkly and more saggy much quicker. So make sure you're eating plenty of nutrient-dense foods. Don't diet down further too quickly. Take your time at it. The food one is out at the end of the month. You can pre-order it online. There you go. Principles of Muscle Building is amazing. Thanks, Emma. We should give you a job. Elliot, will there ever be a UP Fitness clothing range? We do a few items, yes. They are available in our actual gyms. We are also working on something else, so watch this space. That will be coming. Katie Koo, would you recommend using MyFitnessPal to control calorie intake to ensure I have a calorie deficit to lose fat? Katie Koo, yes, it can be really, really useful initially. Really useful indeed. More that it allows you to learn about your food, it allows you to see what is in your food, what your food is made up of, and that is a very, very useful tool for dieting long term and understanding what your body needs, when and how much. Do I think you should be tracking your meals constantly? No, because it creates a completely neurotic and very unhealthy relationship with food. So yes, MyFitnessPal can be very, very useful in the short term, in my opinion. Once you've learned about your food, you should be trying to balance your food kind of by eye and a knowledge of what you've picked up from somewhere like MyFitnessPal. How much protein to consume per pound of body weight when leaning down on a low-carb diet? Rogan Josh, I actually answered this one a minute ago and said there is no great golden number. I would suggest don't, as a male, go lower than 150 grams a day. As a female, about 80 to 100 is adequate. If you're on a fat loss diet, that's more than enough. Because, all of these formulas and how much per pound and blah, 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 bollocks, 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 none of it takes into account you as an individual, your hormonal status, your stress levels, your genetic recovery levels, your genetic protein turnover, rate of protein turnover, any digestive stress or digestive problems that you have, the rest of your diet, what else are you taking in? None of these things are taken into account when using these formulas. This means that they are largely inaccurate. Stop trying to hold on to golden numbers. Give yourself about 150 as a baseline, see what happens. Do 4. That's what I'm struggling with. I have a back injury and doing PT, but I need my upfit class. I'm afraid of losing everything I worked so hard for. You won't lose it. Do 4. You just have to be intelligent about how you work around it, allow your body to recover. You know, you don't want to cause extra stresses, extra inflammation, extra problems in that area. But what you do need to do is continue moving more than anything and keep your diet in check. A really, really easy thing to do when injured is to stop dieting and stop eating correctly. You think, oh, screw it, well, I can't train, so I'll go and eat pizza and I'll go and eat this and I'll go and eat that. This is the worst thing to do for 2 reasons. Number one, you're exacerbating the problem. By eating inflammatory foods, you're going to slow down the recovery and potentially make any inflammation in the area worse. Secondly, from a mental point of view, it's going to screw you up. You start getting into bad habits. Thirdly, you're not training, you're not burning as many calories, so it's stupid to then put more in. Think about it. Give yourself time, be patient, allow your body to heal, work around the injury where you can safely, and keep your diet in check. Then you really shouldn't lose any progress. Forrest Wayne, hi, what's the best thing along with DIM to help an estrogen imbalance? Calcium D-glucarate is also very, very good. DIM actually helps take it out of the body. Calcium D-glucarate helps to liberate it from the tissues. So they work very, very well in synergy. On top of that, loads of water. Again, you've got to think about it like rinsing stuff out, rinsing dirt off a car when you've washed it, okay? Lots and lots of water and loads of dark green vegetables. The more dark green vegetables you can take in, the better. Finally, and adding to that, make sure you're not putting any more in. Think about the foods, the drinks, whatever you're putting in your mouth. Don't put any more in when you're trying to cleanse it out, okay? Think about that. Hey, Joe Fitness, love you guys. Thank you, we love you guys too. Chris Campany, I joined the UP Fitness Live online group training. Am I able to continue on it for longer than 3 months, or do you then have to go on to something else? Chris Campany, what we do, if you're doing the Live Up program, which is the pre-made programs, after the first 3 months, if we have got you, or if you're happy with where you are, we actually do specialization programs. So we put you in a place where you can do, for instance, if you've gone through the initial fat loss and muscle building phase, we've got you shredded, and you turn around and say, you know what, now I want to work on my shoulders, or now I want to work on my back, or now I want to work on my legs. Each subsequent month then allows you to work on a specialist area, because we know that at the end of that 12 weeks, the chances are everybody is in very, very different places. So it's important for us to be able to take you off, and try and shape your body a little bit better in whatever direction it may be. What are my thoughts on intermittent fasting? Rogan Josh. Intermittent fasting, for me, is better for health issues than it is for body composition. Obviously, what most people come to us, UP Fitness, for is for body composition. It's to get them in shape as fast as possible and in the most sustainable way possible. Is intermittent fasting the way to do that? No, it is not. What is intermittent fasting good for? Health problems and people who have more than enough muscle to be willing to lose some. That's not to say everybody will lose muscle on an intermittent fasting style diet, but most people will. Secondly, it tends to encourage people to overeat at single meals, which I don't believe is intelligent. When someone's super hungry, they also tend to reach for the wrong types of foods, which I don't believe is smart. And certainly for any females watching this, it plays havoc with your hormonal system and your stress hormones. So I would highly recommend you don't do it, especially. Little and often is usually, for me, it's the better way for most people to do it. I find I always lift heavier when training in the evening, but sometimes mornings are the only times I can fit sessions in. Will this hinder progress if it continues being inconsistent? No, not at all. Not at all. As long as you're lifting, you are good. Don't stress it. Is there any difference of eating carbs during the diet in the morning or in the evening? Yes, potentially. From a hormonal point of view, you don't necessarily want carbs first thing in the morning, because the simplest way to put this without bamboozling with you with loads of big words is that what happens to you after a big bowl of pasta? You want to go to sleep. Why? Because the carbohydrates have released insulin. Insulin and serotonin go up. That puts you to sleep. It makes you want to nap. Now, therefore, you do not want carbs first thing in the morning. Why? Because when insulin and serotonin go up, you want to nap. Ever wondered why you get the energy slumps first thing in the morning, or say like 10 o'clock, and then again at 2 o'clock, and then again at 5 o'clock? because you've had carbs in the morning. Protein and fats in the morning, you're going to do far, far better from that. Your carbs should be reserved for the evening for 2 reasons. Number one, you've already used tons of fuel by then, and the carbs are going to be used to replenish muscle glycogen more than likely. Secondly, it's going to encourage better sleep because of what we've just talked about. It puts you to sleep. If you are sleeping better, your stress hormones are lower, you're going to be able to build more muscle, you're going to be able to lose fat a lot faster. Generally, you're going to be much, much, much healthier. So for me, carbs in the evening. For most people, certainly shouldn't be taking them in the morning. Obviously, that's always going to divide everybody. You know, no doubt there will be trainers saying, oh, shut up, Elliot, blah, 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 blah. These trainers are the same trainers that have been absolutely shredded for years. Shredded for years. So, honestly, your opinion is invalid if you're one of them. Squat depth, how low do you go? Me personally, I squat extremely well, so I can go very much ass to grass, but each one of you out there is going to have a very different mechanical setup, so you may not necessarily going to be able to squat as low as me. Squat to the best range you can safely squat to. How much are the charges for the sessions in London? Himanshu, if you go to the website, upfitness.com, you can send an email inquiry to whichever gym you want, and somebody will come back to you with all of the prices, rates, and everything you need to know on that. upfitness.com. Same applies to anyone here on YouTube or anyone listening to the podcast. If you need any information on anything we've said tonight or anything you are curious about with regards to the company, go to upfitness.com and everything is there. Former 308-pound man, I like the name. Just pre-ordered the meal plan book on Amazon, 30th July release date. Recommend this if it is any good as volume 1. It will inevitably be, absolutely. The team have worked really, really hard on it. You know, Nick's worked very, very hard on it. Johnny's worked very hard on it, so it will no doubt be absolutely awesome. Zoila, Canales, Hellier, you mentioned before that you don't suggest bench pressing for females. We have recently started a 5-3-1 strength training program, including bench press. Can you suggest any alternatives? So listen, this is my personal preference, okay, from my years of training clients and what I like to kind of encourage them to do visually. I don't really like girls with big, thick chests, and I found that clients tend not to like, you know, when they've started to get big pecs or big striated lines down the center of their chest. This is a preference thing as a coach for me, and it's what I tend to speak to my clients about. However, if a client wants to do it, by all means do it, so don't stress that. This is purely what I tend to say to my clients. If you don't want to do it, if you want to do it, don't stress it at all. Don't stress it at all. Katie, you're welcome. Rogan Jash, you're most welcome. How much protein a man should eat in one meal? All talks about absorption is a scam. It's all rubbish, Armand. Let's try to break this down in its simplest form. All of these douchebags out there say that you can only break down, let's say, 30 grams of protein, that the human body can only break down 30 grams of protein at a time. Okay, so douchebags, I take let's say a 50 kilo woman, okay? Apparently she can break down 30 grams of protein at a time. I take Eddie Hall, 200 kilo powerlifter. Apparently he can only break down 30 grams of protein at a time. Does that add up to you? No, not really. This is too big a continuum. We are all different. Everyone has different setups metabolically, hormonally, digestively, and generally as their size, their strength, etc. To say that you can only absorb X amount per time as a general rule for all humans is absolute rubbish. It has no logic in it. The way you have to think about these things, it's all very well that this study was done on, you know, 100 people who all weighed 75 kilos. Well, no shit, they can only absorb a certain amount within a range, within a kind of a spectrum, because some of them are going to have poor digestion, some will have better digestion, some of them will carry more muscle. You know, their body mass indexes will be slightly different. All of these variables will account for some kind of discrepancy there. Don't believe everything you hear. The key is to listen to something and think about it, really think about it logically. Does this sound right logically? Because most of the time when it's explained to you, you're like, yeah, do you know what? It sounds quite idiotic that. So yeah, eat as much protein as you need to in each meal. Obviously, don't overeat. If you can feel that digestively you're not doing too great, then maybe you want to back it off. But, you know, if you're sitting there at 200 kilos and you're trying to put in, like, you know, a little sparrow's wing at 20 grams of protein, then you can probably take a nice big lump of cow in there instead. How many sets and reps of bicep growth per week? I would suggest for most people with standard recovery factors, doing 9 to 12 sets per week per muscle group is more than enough. Maybe a little bit more with legs, 9 to 12 sets per week. With regards to the rep ranges, vary them. Go some heavy and low, you know, 3, 4 reps, nice and slow. Some high reps, 15, 20, vary that stuff. What's your opinion on six-pack electric pulse belts? My opinion on six-pack electric pulse belts are that they're making Ronaldo as rich as I want to be, but they are absolute 100%, wait a minute, legal stuff. This is the opinion of Elliot Upton, not the opinion of UP Fitness. They are absolute balls. Balls, rubbish, it's a gimmick, it's all trash. Don't buy into it. What works? Lifting weights and dieting. Thank you, Elliot. Food in check. You're welcome. Forrest Wayne, no problem. Flounder, cheers for your time tonight. No problem. As you know, I'm always here every single Wednesday. Some really insightful answers. I hope to be participating more in the near future. I hope the injury heals up soon. Thank you very much for that. Yes, me too, because it's starting to get rather annoying. It's all right. I'm fine. Cool. I'm fine. I'm calm. It's all right. I'm all good. Don't stress about it. Any suggestions on how to round glutes to combat hip dips? How to round glutes to combat hip dips? You might have to explain that one to me a little bit better. I'm not sure what you mean there. Chris Campany, you're welcome. Jay Singh, any supplements or potions or anything I can use for loose skin? Dropped about 6 stone and have a little left over. Number one, Jay Singh, is make sure your food, make sure your diet is full of nutrients, because your skin and your body and your cells need to be healthy. Otherwise, everything is going to get considerably worse. Secondly, there is evidence to suggest that a combination of collagen, creams or supplements, and Gotu Kola can work. It can help. Gotu Kola is G-O-T-U-K-O-L-A. Okay, those synergistically used potentially can help, but I'm told it can take months and months and months and months and months to take effect because your body needs to build them up. So it's an option. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm not saying it's fact, but rumor has it, it's very, very useful for it. Certainly, lots of nutritious food, lots and lots of water, lots of vegetables, and collagen creams on the area should be able to help. How can I reduce strain in my anterior deltoid when I do bicep curls? Mark Fitty, chances are it's not actually your anterior deltoid. It sounds like it's probably the long head of your bicep. How to reduce strain, maybe to set your shoulder blades back a little bit. So if you're curling there, as opposed to here, it's going to cause problems. So drop the weight and get your posture back. One of the biceps heads joins onto, I believe, the coracoid process at the top of the scapula, so it actually pulls the scapula up. If that's the position you're starting your curls in, or you're starting in a rounded back position, then it's not going to be doing you much good. It's probably not your anterior delt, as I say. It could be starting to strain on the bicep tendon up in that area. So set your shoulders back and maybe drop the weight a bit. Christine, hi Leah, I'm interested in starting the £50 monthly program. I'm on a tight budget, but then it will work perfectly for you, eh? And I tend to work out at home. Will the program still be beneficial for me? Depends what you can work out for. It is a gym-based program. It is a gym-based program, and it's not to the same degree as one-to-one training. If you're doing one-to-one training, you would be given a program that is customized to you training at home. This is not customized to you training at home. We do have a lot of people who do the program at home, but they have at the very least barbells, racks and dumbbells. So it depends what you've got. Chelsea Slime, yo. Vast, I'm Chinese. Nice to meet you, Vast V. I'm not Chinese, I'm English, but good to see we have an international crowd here. Hi, would it be better to do some kind of strongman exercise at the end of a workout? Would it be better to complete a strongman session workout individually? By all means, 10-15 minutes of intense strongman session towards the end of a workout can be a really, really good way of burning fat really, really fast. Sled pulls, drags, carries, whatever. It is a really beneficial way of getting that extra boost to your fat loss and muscle building. Plus, it's damn fun, right? If you've had a relatively slow bodybuilding style workout, you're using tempo. Tempo is incredibly useful, but it's not necessarily that interesting. So if you can get in at the end of your workout and you can do some awesome fun lifts, do some kind of strongman training, which is a little bit more hardcore, then it can really give you an extra boost before you go home. So I'm all for that. Right, I have questions. So hang fire just for a second, because I'm going to go and get my water from there. I'll be back in 2 seconds. That was 1. And this is 2. I told you I'd be back. I'd never leave you guys alone. My famous sparkling water. Obviously, it's a shameless plug for Fontaire. Fonte, if you're watching live here, or if you're watching on YouTube, or if you're listening on the podcast, then send me loads of free water for life, because every single time I'm on one of these podcasts, there is literally 35 people watching. So, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you should start sponsoring me. Worth it, 35 people, think about that. Imagine what that could do to your sales. How much cardio? Rogan Josh, as much as you need. Cardio for me, being active every single day, going for a walk in the morning when you wake up is vitally important for two things. Number one, recovery and blood flow. You are going to grow better and you are going to lose fat better if you go for regular cardio sessions. Why? Because your body is delivering nutrients to the areas that need to grow more quickly and more effectively. Secondly, from a mental point of view, it's phenomenal for you, absolutely phenomenal for you. So I would suggest for almost everybody out there, you're going to get nothing bad at all from at least one walk per day. I personally prefer to do it in the morning before I have my breakfast. Just get it out of the way, get it done. You'd be amazed what it does to your brain, your life, your professional life, etc. Secondly, HIIT. How often should you be doing HIIT? I would suggest for most people no more than 2 to 3 times a week, depending on how much you're weight training. If you're doing 3 weight training sessions a week, no more than 2 HIIT. Why? Because it is incredibly high impact, incredibly high stress. It's got a high risk versus reward. So yes, it is very, very useful, but you shouldn't be doing solely HIIT style programs, because the damage that you're likely to sustain versus the results you're going to get from it, they don't really balance each other out. You know, this is the common curse with the kind of commercially mass marketed high intensity interval training programs that are all over TV and magazines, etc. is they tend to be more damaging than good. Of course, it's great that it's getting people off their sofa, it's getting people running around their living rooms, but it's not necessarily the safest, smartest, or most effective way to train. So cardio, do something every day, whether it's a cycle ride, whether it's a walk. How long? 30 minutes, 40 minutes, 45 minutes, basically until you get bored. Don't stress it. HIIT, high intensity cardio, I would suggest twice a week, keep them less than 20 minutes. Karen, hi, I've hit a bit of a wall. Just feel bored in the gym. I'm bored of hitting protein targets, etc. Do you ever feel like this? Yes, of course. Any tips you ever give clients feel like this? Number one is change things up. If you're bored in the gym, change things. Stop doing the same program. You know, the best programs are one you're going to stick to, and if you suddenly crash because you've got bored of yours, that's a real problem. Secondly, if you're hitting protein targets, are you actually tracking? If you're constantly tracking, of course, you know, I'm not a massive fan of tracking calories. It annoys the crap out of me because it creates a poor relationship with food. Now, the idea of the fitness industry, the health and fitness industry, is to create good habits, and part of that health is to not have a mental attachment to food. This is really, really important. If you're constantly neurotically chasing targets and this and that amount and blah, 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 yes, it's useful in the short term. Yes, it's useful for a rapid transformation. Sometimes it's vital for a rapid transformation, but is it good long term? No, not necessarily. Try to balance your food. Listen to your body. You know roughly what to eat based on what you've been tracking. Try doing that by eye for a while and see what happens, and then change your training protocol. Scott Titmus, is the £50 a month plan catered to those who are just starting out in the gym, or is it catered to those who have been working out for a while? Both, Scott. We have hundreds of people from every possible level of ability on there, every age, you know, people from 18 to 55 or 56, I think is the oldest. Everybody's getting results. So yeah, go on over to upfitness.com, hit the menu tab in the right hand side, hit the online training tab, and then go to Live Up for Men, or if you're a female out there watching this, Live Up for Women, and that is the £50 per month program, which you can start immediately. But it is there for everybody. It's completely inclusive, so you can enjoy that. When running a 10K run, occasionally one of my shoulders gets a pain. Is there anything I can do to help prevent this? It sounds to me like you've probably got quite bad posture on that. So one of your shoulders is likely to be elevated or high, and that pain you're feeling from the impact is it's going to be stretching the muscle. So you may want to start, you know, stretching out your pec, pec minor, pec major, anterior delt and bicep, get some mobility in them, and try and set your shoulders back a bit better. Be conscious when you're running of pulling your shoulders into a better position. Any supplements or suggestions for bloating? Suggestions for bloating would be, number one, try and figure out what's making you bloat by keeping a food diary. Number two, don't eat such big portions. Number three, take digestive enzymes with every single meal. That's what I like to do. I've forgotten today, but usually I do take digestive enzymes with every single meal. So again, go to upfitness.com, go to the search bar at the top and type in digestive enzymes. It will come up via digestive enzymes. These are enzymes that help you to break down protein, fats and carbohydrates. So it's going to help your digestive system do its job far, far better, minimize bloating. It's also worth having hot water, lemon in the morning when you wake up. Before you do anything else, have some hot water and lemon. Gets the digestive system working properly, and that again you'll find has a knock-on effect throughout the day, and it will minimize bloating for the rest of the morning and afternoon. Richie, I didn't explain that well, sorry. I like to build muscles around my hips and around my side booty muscles to appear curvier. I have quite broad shoulders but relatively narrow lower half. So Richie, for that, you know, you're talking kind of about quads are good for a quad sweep, but I think the ones you're talking about are kind of your glute medius, which kind of sits at the top and slightly to the side. That can be done by things like clamshells, heavy clamshells, but also heavy squatting and deadlifting. Because your body has to work so hard to stabilize those movements, by pulling out your knees very, very hard on heavy squats and deadlifts, they're gonna grow nice and quickly. You can also do some isolation and activation work on there, you know, movements to the side and external rotation movements, such as clamshells can be quite effective for that as well. But the real mass builders on there are gonna be proper form squatting, and deadlifting, you know, proper form. By that I mean weight is in the heels and you're pushing your knees out. This is what most people don't do on a squat, is they let their knees just kind of be where they're going to be. Drive your knees out hard, and that's going to help you to build that section under heavy load. James Skiv, my partner is concerned, I'm assuming, that because she is now lifting in the gym, she's going to start to look bulky and not lean. How is best to change the mindset? James, number one, tell her that I have been trying to get massive and bulky for the best part of 15 years and it still hasn't happened, and I kind of know what I'm doing. Secondly, females, because she doesn't have a set of testicles, I assume, obviously this is 2018, so I don't want to assume, because she doesn't have a set of testicles, her testosterone levels are not likely to be high enough for her to gain a load of muscle. Now, if she is one of the very, very lucky few women who gain muscle very, very easily, all she has to do is adjust her diet slightly. Bring her protein levels down slightly, maybe to about 70 or 80 grams. That's going to be enough to help her recover. It's going to be enough to help her get results, but it's not going to be so much that she ends up jacked with traps and muscles, etc. Lifting does not make women bulky. This one's for YouTube. Lifting does not make women bulky. Everybody, please remember that. What it does is it makes you strong, it makes you fit, it teaches you how to be confident, and teaches you that you're capable of stuff that you never thought you were capable of. So absolutely lift. Never let anyone tell you that it makes you big. Get her, best bet, James, is when this goes up on YouTube, fast forward to this part, which I'm guessing, I don't know how long I've been on now, but it'll be a while. Fast forward to this part and have her listen to what I've just said. It's not going to make her bulky. She doesn't have the right hormonal setup for it. She doesn't have testes. Chances are she's not training in the right way. And even if she does start to get a little bit bulky, just drop her calories and protein slightly and everything will slow down. Danny Wade, hi Leah, views on steroids for domestic users. Don't do it. Excellent, thank you. Sosborn, hello. Emma Dicko, what's up? What would be wrong if I am losing kilograms but not centimeters from my body? Does it mean that I'm not eating enough? It depends on your goal. If you're losing kilograms, you're probably in a deficit. This is our 2-minute warning, guys. 2 minutes and Instagram's going to kick me off, so we're coming to an end now. I'll go quick fire. If you are dropping kilograms, the chances are you're in a calorie deficit. So you're where you need to be to start getting leaner. Just because you are not losing your inches just yet could just mean that your body is dropping fat off of different places. So don't get downhearted about it. You should be fine. Sosborn, how many times a week should you exercise to see results? I have 2 kids under 2, so time is limited. Sosborn, if you're doing everything correctly and your diet is in check, then 3 times per week is more than enough. I would suggest 3 full body intense weight training sessions per week, lasting no more than 45 minutes to an hour. That's not much. That gives you 165 hours for the rest of your week to do what you need to do in. Obviously try to stay active, move around, play with your kids, etc. Danny Wade, one-to-one with you guys online at the minute. Can't recommend it enough. Thank you, Danny Wade. That's awesome. I would hope that is indeed the case. Can you eat 1,000 calories and get lean? Tom Kai, yes you can. I wouldn't suggest for either male or female staying down there for too long though. You are going to want to dip in and out of that each day. You know, for something like a carb cycle, going up and down. Ditto what Fanny's. Well, okay, Richard Oates, yeah. Ditto what Danny Wade said. Danny Wade, henceforth you shall be known as Fanny. Right, we have got 37 seconds, 35 seconds, quick fire. Let's get these questions in. I'll try and answer them as fast as I can before it all kicks me off. And I will say goodbye to YouTube and I'll say goodbye to the podcast in a moment. Everything's in order. I'm eating 700 calories and I'm a teen. Is that too low? Tom Kai, yes, it's probably too low. Especially as a teen, your body's trying to go through a lot of changes. It's trying to do a lot of stuff. It's trying to grow more than anything. So up your calories a little bit. You know, if you're into your lifting, certainly if you're into the gym, I would assume so because you're following us, you're gonna need some fuel to be happy and to be healthy. Right, guys, 5 seconds. So thank you very much, as always, for joining. I will see you all Wednesday, 8 p.m. next week. It's just paused due to bad connection, apparently. God damn it. Can you believe that? Right, 2 minutes before it finished, it paused, 2 seconds it paused, and then threw me off. YouTube, this has been the live feed over on @UPFitnessLive. The link is available in the comments box. I am Elliot Upton. My link is available in the comments box. If you have any questions, please do remember to ask them in the comments box below. I will always come back onto here to answer if I can. Again, if you are listening to this or watching this during your cardio, thank you. Send it to your friends, recommend it. If you have any more questions, come to us or go to upfitness.com. Everything that I do, everything that I say is also up on there, so do check that out. Of course, I will be putting up information and potentially a link as to where the podcast is also hosted. So if you are listening to this, but you can't close your phone or whatever and it's starting to annoy you, we do have it on another platform. I'll be working on that this week to get it up. So thank you very much for tuning in. Please like it, share it, subscribe to my channel, subscribe to the UP Fitness channel. Share this across your Facebook, your Twitter, wherever, anywhere that you think it could be handy and useful to everybody else. I will say goodbye. Until next week, I've been Elliot Upton. Peace out.